And welcome to Our Life, the show. Sorry, we've been gone for a couple weeks. Been hectic in our personal lives, to say the least. But in this episode, even though it's going to be a little late, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about just the general things that we thought were good or bad from the previous year. Probably would have been more timely, around New Year's, but hey, you know, life, it happens.
And we just need a refresher. I mean, after holidays, I'm sure a lot of people need a refresher.
But before I get going, I will say there is going to be a couple quick little notes here at the end of the video, so stay tuned till the end for that. But without further ado, Sonia, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
So, overall, before we get into just what our least favorite things about last year were, what would you say, how would you say 2021 in general was for us, or for you personally?
2021 was definitely a lot better than 2020. I went on a health kick and lost 30 pounds. Woo! I'm not bragging, I swear. I'm just happy about it. We actually went on a few trips. You went on video game hunting. We went thrifting. I mean, you did video games. I was going for my Halloween stuff because I was like, I'm going to collect Halloween shit. And I did. We started this channel. Having fun. Went to Salem. I've always wanted to go there, and it was cool seeing the actual Hocus Pocus house. If you want to check out that video, go on there.
Make me do iCards that I don't do. Come on. I'm just being a smartass.
I never put my stuff out there. But yeah, in general, it was pretty good to us. We had a lot of fun with our child. We actually made up from last time, hanging out and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was pretty good for us, for the most part.
I mean, there was definitely a lot of activity, I guess, a lot of moving parts, as it were, during the last year. For me personally, I probably actually have a slightly different take on it from a personal perspective, which we'll get into. But I think what I'll do now is we're just going to jump right into our best and worst. And I think there's a worst that's going to be on both of our lists, so I'm going to go ahead and probably knock it out first, and it's one of the more recent ones. That was last year ending with the death of Betty White on New Year's Eve. And, everybody obviously loves Betty White. She was a icon as far as celebrities are concerned. And a lot of people, myself included,
Thought she was indestructible?
thought she was indestructible, thought she was going to probably live forever. Obviously,
at least 10 more years.
Obviously, she wasn't going to. Everybody has to die at some point, but it still was kind of a shocker, honestly, especially because there was a lot of media that was pushing the fact that she was turning 100 in the next week or two. And it just some of it was just really badly timed. There was a People magazine that was out on shelves until maybe last week that was talking about, oh, Betty White at 100, her secret to longevity. Really poorly timed.
I think it was such a big deal too because there's not very many celebrities that live to be 100.
But what's actually pissing me off right now, and I can't even believe I have to talk about this. There was a rumor going around, and I read this tonight, so this is probably new news to you. There's a rumor apparently going around that she got a COVID booster a couple days before her death, and her cause of death was a stroke. That rumor has been debunked. Apparently she has not had any sort of booster shots or whatever. But, man, I was reading this through Yahoo, which is already a cesspool. Yahoo's the worst source for any news, and the commenters are even worse. And there were commenters on there that were trying to politicize her death as reasons to not get a fucking COVID booster, just because...
Yeah? They did that with, rest in peace to another guy, Bob Saget, who just recently died.
Were the people seriously talking about Bob Saget? They don't even know what killed him yet.
Yeah, but they were trying to blame that he got a booster 40 days ago or something like that. Yeah, they tried to do the same thing to him.
It's pretty fucking shitty. We live in a world where people are using deaths of
Conspiracies?
celebrities to push more of their political agendas and conspiracies one way or the other. And these things have been debunked faster than the conspiracy theories get out there, but it don't stop the people because they read what they want to see and make up the stories based on the shit they see.
Yeah, because it goes with their opinion, their
It,
agenda.
yeah, as they say, it fits their narrative.
Mm-hmm.
But rest in peace, Betty White. You don't give a shit about us,
And Bob
but a
Saget.
lot of people cared about you. So, and Bob Saget because he's pretty fresh in our memories. Because what, yesterday
Yesterday, yep.
at the time of the recording. But what I knocked that probably off of both of our lists. But what would you want to say, worst or best? I don't care where you want to start on this.
Music.
Was that worst or best?
Worse.
Okay.
Well, wasn't it? Maybe it wasn't last year. Maybe it was 2020. But the fucking Cardi B and whatever that's like talking about a.
Okay.
I don't know much because I don't listen.
I'm gonna sound like an old bastard anyway, but all
Yeah.
music sucks today.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
I know that probably the better areas to look for music are not mainstream, but it literally all sounds the same. It all's overproduced, auto-tuned horse shit.
That's how country music nowadays.
And
It's
yeah,
auto-tuned.
country music, rock music. I hate that they call Imagine Dragons rock.
That's
And I
not
know
rock.
that's probably pissing some people off. You know what? Shove it. I'm right on this. Imagine Dragons is an alternative pop band. That's all they are. They are not rock. I believe that people like Lemmy and Angus Young. Was it Angus Young that died? I don't know. But they're turning over in their grave.
Side note: Under Oath's having a new CD, and I'm fucking excited.
Plugging for another thing. Hey, Under
I'm
Oath,
not
if
plugging.
you want to come onto our channel, she would love to promote your stuff, and we would love the
Hey, I've met him before.
3 views they would get from it. And last thing I'll say about music, and I guess this is just going to be Matt's ranting episode. Last thing I'll say about the music thing, and something I've always wanted to say, is when people call them artists. To me, an artist creates art, and music is art. But when a musician has other people writing their songs for them, other people composing the music for them, hell, other people altering their voice for them, and all they do is show up and say the lyrics, to me, that is like the paintbrush calling itself the artist.
Yeah, but the songwriters don't get enough credit, I don't think.
No. And they're really the stars there, because the actual artist, the face of the company or the songs, they don't do too much. They might tour, I guess, but and we probably lost like 500. 500? What the fuck am I talking about? I wish we had
Yeah.
500 fans to lose. We lost 5 of them. We lost 5 of our fans. Anyway, one of the things, again, that's probably honestly weirdly controversial that I actually view in a positive light is gaming in 2021. Now, the reason it's controversial, I guess, is because a lot of people were saying things like, oh, 2021 was like garbage in gaming. Like, they said there was no real big AAA titles, all this other stuff. Maybe if you're a certain type of gamer that needs Sony to put out your next big goddamn title, there probably wasn't anything to play. But for me, there were a lot of games that came out that I personally was interested in. And hell, this is our personal video, so I could say what I want. To me, there were games that were amazing that were just completely overlooked for the most part. Monster Hunter Rise got its attention, and it was a good game, I guess. I mean, I'm not huge on that particular part of the Monster Hunter franchise, but Monster Hunter Stories was great. They also had Neo: The World Ends With You. They had the Pokemon re-releases, which were... I'm still in progress, we'll see.
I like Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap, which was great. Halo Infinite, which, while I'm not a fan of the multiplayer necessarily, the main single-player campaign is actually really good. And can't forget Shin Megami Tensei 5, which to me is amazing. Again, a lot of people complaining about it, and those people are all little bitches from the Persona series that came over and thought it was going to be the same game, but it wasn't. I'm sorry.
It's just dark Pokemon.
Get good. But anyway, That's a lot of what the complaint is too, is how difficult it was, and the fact that the story was a little lighter, I guess, because it's not as in depth as the Persona series, obviously, but it
Yeah,
focuses on different aspects and everything altogether. As it is, it's not the same series.
it's just the same like universe or genre or whatever.
And let's not forget there was also remasters, re-releases, limited run stuff that for me personally I like Scott Pilgrim came out, we finally got that thing.
Physical, anyway.
Castlevania is going to be here sometime in the next year. To me, it was. Oh yeah, and Trails of Cold Steel 4 I think came out this year too.
Metroid Dread. You forget about Metroid Dread.
Yeah, Metroid Dread. Yeah, what the hell are people complaining about that there was like shit games this year? You're just looking in the wrong spot. That's my opinion. Best 2021 gaming was awesome. So anyway, what? Sorry, I am like going off on this one. Was not expecting to, but I guess I'm getting a lot off my chest, right?
Well, you're asking good thing, but I'm gonna go back to a bad. The only thing really, well, the only thing I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Anyway, what I was gonna mention this time was, I mean, I'm pretty sure I bitched about it during my series, is that Halloween shit just wasn't going on the shelves, or people were buying stuff just to resell them. Like I was on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, and they had these old blow molds, which is basically just like the plastic, like if you have a Santa or a ghost or whatever. They're like, oh, these ones are vintage, and they were trying to sell them for like $100 to $500. I'm like, it's just a hunk of plastic with a light in it. You can't sell it for that much. It don't matter if they're vintage or not. But like that was a resale thing, and just anywhere you went, even if it was early or like not even here yet, there's still like not a lot of stuff on shelves. Like Walmart, at least my local Walmart had nothing. There was like maybe one shelf and like a couple costumes, and that was it. I'm like, where's the Halloween? It didn't matter that it was August, didn't matter it was October. Like every time I'd go there would be nothing. So that's what made me mad. And then Christmas comes out in like September, and they have a bunch of stuff. I'm like, again, I understand Christmas is bigger and they have a lot more to sell, but like when you're basically taking away Thanksgiving and Halloween and not getting anything that's Halloween and everything's just Christmas, by the time November hit, there's no more Christmas.
Well, I'm going to actually play off you and go with another bad, which is really starting to make this video look very negative. Even my good was very negative.
This was no one's fault. It's just, for some reason, they were not giving out. Can't blame it on shipment problems. That wasn't the problem at all.
Which will also add down there as bad. Shipment problems everywhere. But what I'm going to complain about right now is the retro gaming collection scene and the price gouging going on there. If you think whatever happens with Halloween decorations is bad, you should see people trying to sell a cartridge of Super Mario Brothers for over $1 million. And trying to get you to buy shares in the game as well. Like it's a fucking stock market. That was another thing that they were doing.
As I mean, like, I understand it being in the gaming world because that has been a problem for a while now. But the thing, like, it shocked me when I'm like, wait, so they're basically taking the shit from gaming and they're putting it on holidays now. That's what got me.
Yeah, I think there's price gouging everywhere with the limited production of some items and the issues with shipment, which have also been plaguing the country. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, those two consoles are still very hard to find in store, but I have actually seen an Xbox Series X out in the wild, go figure.
Yeah, but it's only display only.
No, the PS5 is display only. The Xbox Series X was actually in stock.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, don't have money, and I'm happy with my Xbox One right now anyway. But not just in those regards to that kind of stuff. Other items that just like a year ago weren't as pricey jumped considerably. Like a year and a half ago, Paper Mario for the N64 was probably running at most like $50, and it's jumped up to somewhere near $100 now. And where a lot of this shit's coming from are people that are buying up this stuff, kind of similar to the scalpers like PS5 and whatever, and then trying to resell it for higher prices, and then it starts getting on a trend where people are starting to think they have stuff that's more rare and valuable than it is. And what it's doing is for people like me that like to collect games, and to play the games that I collect, it's making certain things just kind of unobtainable, and it's making it harder to actually do without, the usual tricks, which I'm not going to say, because if you don't know the usual tricks, I don't want to see you in my spots that I go to. So, but yeah, I think the game collecting scene as a whole has been absolute shit this year.
Everything is.
Well, yeah, everything has. Price gouging in general, that's negative. We'll just add that as one negative. Can you please have a positive for this one, so this whole video don't get downvoted to oblivion?
But I already mentioned all my positives.
You had... What positive was there? The Underoath CD?
No! In the beginning, where, like, went on, like, a lot of, like, garage sailing, thrifting, game hunting. Like, you did game hunting. I did, like, holiday shopping, mostly Halloween, which I did get a lot.
Speaking of game hunting, yes, game hunt. I think I'm going to say this is a positive. We did, for ourselves personally, as a whole, there was a lot of adventuring, a lot more, and a lot of that was just fun little things like the excursions to find games, find whatever. The fact that I had more free time at the time made it very easy to do a lot of this stuff. So it just took the time while I had the free time to do it. The thing that for some reason popped in my head, though, speaking of our little weird adventures, was going to get the Super Nintendo up in that weird place that we went to.
Oh, yeah. We got kind of lost, but not really.
I was convinced we were going to get murdered. We were in the middle of the woods. It was very muddy. I don't know if it was just after winter or not, but it was muddy. I remember that.
Yeah, it was like early
It was
spring.
very hard. It was very hard to drive on the road. And we missed the place. We had to turn around. And then when we turned around, the place was like up this long-ass driveway in the back of the woods.
And the dog was like sunbathing. I'm like, is that dog alright?
The dog looked dead. I was like, well, if the dog's dead, that means that we're going to get killed too.
Well, he was like a really nice dog and he was happy when we were there. But like as we were leaving, he was just like...
But despite how this place looked, it was one hell of a score. I got the Super Nintendo, a couple of really good both Zelda games on the NES, and a couple other good NES games. And this is at the time where people were starting to gouge shit, and I got all of it for like $50.
I think you spent less than that.
I probably did spend. Yeah, I think you're right. I did only spend like $30. So I got a steal on all that stuff. So that's a positive on my end too. But yeah, I enjoyed the trip to Salem. You a little more than me because it was definitely something we did for you.
We were planning on going to Canada, but it was still kind of tricky, and that was like in the beginning where you had to get like tested and stuff like that. We didn't know how.
I don't even think we could have went to Canada if we wanted to.
Yeah, because we do have like a means to get there, but we didn't know. Like, they were still kind of figuring out how to get over there. We didn't know if our son had to get tested too, or like, there's a lot of like combustions or whatever. I'm making up words, but yeah, there was a lot
combustions, word of the week.
Conflicting things. So he was like, "Oh, I'll make it up to you. I'll surprise you with something." I'm like, okay. So he like went on like one of our I'll just say it, not Priceline, it was Expedia.
Yeah.
Expedia or whatever.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. We went through that, and they always text my phone, like, if he books, like, hotels or trips or whatever like that. And it said that, and it said Massachusetts. And I'm like, are we going to Salem? He's like, yeah, surprise. It was either between that or Sleepy Hollow. So he just decided on Salem. I'm like, oh, cool.
And I think the biggest reason, honestly, that I decided on Salem, one, because I have been fortunate enough to do a lot of stuff I've really wanted to, and I want to try to give that back to Sonia any way I can. It's a little harder because I don't know how I can make her a panda nanny anytime soon, but this is one thing I knew I could do. I knew she'd be very interested in it, and it coincided with the fact that we were starting to release content on our channel that was based on Halloween and things of that nature. So everything kind of lined up to be perfect for this trip.
Disclaimer, I know Salem's probably a lot more fun in October, but that's like 100,000 more people we're still in a pandemic. No. And I'm not good with crowds, so we went in August and that was good for me.
Even so, I hated driving around Salem and Boston because the roads are fucking confusing as
no
it
parking.
is. And I can just imagine how much worse it would be if it was completely crowded. There was still a lot of people there, but it definitely was not nearly as crowded.
I think it's because they were starting to like being touristy again. So I think when we went, that's when like they were only open again for like a short period of time. Like all their stuff was open without many restrictions. I mean, masks was worn, yes, but
so if I'm gonna go with my last two positives and negatives. Actually, before I get into that, let me just jump on. Well, not jump on you. That's what I was about to say.
Okay.
Let me just ask you if you have any other ones that you want to throw out here.
I don't know. Just the only thing I'd say is like watching our son grow, like his own personality and stuff like that. Like it's awesome to see how he's turning out to be, I guess.
Yeah, and it was amazing to spend a lot more time again because 2020, I mean, we were pretty much locked down that whole year too.
Yeah, we went outside a lot more this year, especially with... I'm just going to say I'm proud of my son. He was very into Halloween with me.
You know, I remember one of the things I said that I wanted to do with these videos before I get into the other thing is swear less. Because I think YouTube doesn't like the shits and the fucks. But we already kind of let that ship sail for this one, so...
I've tried not to swear, but...
I apologize to all three of you. Anyway.
But I will add one more quickly, too. I got a lot closer to some of my friends. A friend even lives, like, 5 minutes away from me now.
So, I think my last negative is I do feel, personally, like my health... and my mental health probably deteriorated a bit during 2021. I'm not going to go into too many details on that specifically, but I do know that I was, and still admittedly am at times in a bad place, and feeling very down on myself, very down on things like that. So, and I don't know if it's something that was accentuated more because, you know, everybody's been in lockdown. We've been... or not necessarily in lockdown, but the pandemic itself just taking...
It's just people. People are not great.
Yeah, being idiots, online shit, and just my own hang-ups about myself, my appearance, things like that. Roll your eyes all you want, it's still part of me.
Because I love you.
And it's something that I hope to work on here in 2022. And one of the positive steps forward I've taken for this is, finally, one of the things that wore down me through 2021 was my terrible luck with, you know, employment, I guess you could say. And finally I have something good, and I think that'll be my last positive for the year. But this last positive is also kind of sort of tying into the announcements I had for the end of the video. So, because our lives are stupid busy lately, while I am going to try to maintain the schedule that we usually have, Sonia's videos on Wednesday, our video, Our Life, the podcast, Our Life, the show on Fridays, and miscellaneous videos on Mondays every once in a while. Well, I will try to maintain that schedule. There might be some weeks, like last week, that are off. You know, we might not have an upload, might be a lot of stuff getting in the way of that. And for those that are regular fans of us, I appreciate that you guys are here. And be patient. We will still have content for you. We're not going away completely or anything like that. And I do plan to somewhat try to maintain everything as best I can. But just know, if there's a week off, it happens. But with that said, I hope our prospects for 2022 are great. I have a lot of hope going into this year for both our personal lives, our career, and this channel. And I have some really cool stuff coming up here on the channel as well that I hope you guys will stay tuned for. Anything you want to add to the end of this video?
I say good luck to everybody else, and I hope 2022 finds you good well.
Finds you good well.
Good times.
Well, thank you guys for watching. Tune in next week because we're going to have a certain special guest back on the show. And he's going to be answering a few Q&A questions. Let's just say he's not exactly the nicest person, but you guys will hopefully tune in next week to see that. Anyway, take care. Have a great day.
Boy. Oh. I need the fucking count.